It is important to know that this is not the continuation of the Onyx Books Note, the original 10.3 that came out in 2018. This is the second generation of the Note Pro, really, because of its similar design cues, flush screen and bezel, etc. Here are some quick specs on the screen. There's lots of different languages here. We're just going to focus in on English because that is our primary clientele. Essentially, what you need to know about this is that the RAM and the storage has been effectively doubled. It went from 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs onboard storage, to 4 gigs and 64 respectively. Still 10.3 inches, and they are now running Android 9. So those are the biggest things that are going to be different about this device, and it is lighter as well. So this device has the exact same home screen as it had on the previous generation, and that is not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing because it's familiar and they didn't change everything and do a complete overhaul. You have everything on the side here: library, shop, note, storage, apps, and settings. Everything will be retained within this isolated area, and the top and the side will remain consistent. You can tap the top bar. You see you have some notifications. Google Play is telling me some stuff. We have the glow light slider. We'll show you that later. We have rotation, Bluetooth, touch panel, enable, disable, edit, and we have this, which is has been introduced on the Onyx Books Max 3. This is the display refresh mode. So we have normal mode, speed mode, A2 mode, and the most important one, X mode. X mode effectively allows you to watch YouTube videos, and you can play video and basically have this perform as a regular tablet would, thus making this pretty much a tablet with an e-ink screen on it. Unlike the Max 3 with its all-new white stylus, they are still using the old standard Wacom stylus on this. Has a button on the side, eraser function on the back, a plastic lapel clip, and a plastic nib. Nothing particularly special about the stylus included with the device. Reading is very nice, and Onyx has always been very generous when it comes to customization of experiences, so this is no different. You have progress, we can click on right there, shows you the progress bar. Table of contents doesn't always work on side-loaded content. You have to be careful because sometimes it just won't be formatted properly. And you have format. You have font size via a slider bar, font face, encode. Encode is very nice because it actually has a ton of different encoders if you're reading, you know, Russian, Cyrillic, Korean, etc. Font face, you have 232 fonts, pretty much the most on any device by far. And it has Chinese fonts as well. And you have traditional and indented as well. You have format, column, direction, image contrast, text contrast. Yes, they isolate both the images and the text differently, so you can choose your contrast respectively. Line spacing, paragraph spacing, vertical spacing, and horizontal spacing. Everything changes live. It is all very quick. It is all very fast. You do have split screen as well, and we're going to show you that right now. Split screen can be used in numerous ways. You can read the same document on both sides. You can have completely separate documents, book and PDF, etc. They both operate autonomously. Or the most important, in our opinion, is document plus notes. So you have notes on one side and documents on the other side, but you can't take notes on this side unless it's something you can scribble on like a PDF. So you'll just have to deal with reading on this side and then taking your important notes on this side. And it is important to note that every single time you switch, for example, I try to draw on this, it'll take the second attempt before it'll do anything because you're actually initiating the switch panel. Long pressing on a word is very nice because it opens up the dictionary right out of the gates, and you can choose the drop down and load in other dictionaries from there. You do have notes as well, in the sense where you can take notes via the keyboard, so I can just write Peter, and you can see it missed a couple letters, but if we had this on X mode, it would be a lot quicker. So you do have to choose the mode for what you're doing in that particular instance. You have translation here, so you have translating, and important to note that you do have 4 different pages of translatable languages. So you have about 20, just shy of 20 languages, so that's very nice. And it does use Google Translator, as you see here, to make the translation, so that is all very quick. You have audio, search on the web, search in book, and underline, and you can save this to your overall notes as well. Top right corner is bookmark, and tapping in the center will bring up a couple more things up top: screen refresh, settings, and the glow light option. PDFs are very crucial to large screen e-readers because, well, you can take notes on your educational textbooks, your digital textbooks, your doctor documents, and whatever you need to take notes on. It effectively just works with anything. You can click scribble, and this allows you to make some notes on the screen. You do have some options up top, but we are going to save most of the note-taking functionality for the note-taking section. But note that you can take notes on here, and you can press the bottom button to get back out of that, because the bottom button isn't a home button, it's actually a back button. If you press and hold on anything on a PDF, it does long press it, so that's very nice, because a lot of manufacturers actually don't have that on side-loaded PDF content, that it will isolate bodies of text based on, well, just it being text. So it has a stable enough engine that it knows that this is text, and you can box certain ranges, make different highlights, underlines, dotted underlines, and you can change the colors actually as well. You can do translation all the same, and basically everything carries over from the ebook experience to the PDF experience pretty clearly. You do have pinch and zoom as well. It's not the fastest, but let's see what happens on X mode. X mode is kind of overkill because it's just extremely quick. The refresh is very, very nice. It's probably the quickest we've seen on any e-readers so far. X mode is basically used to completely dull down the images of what you're looking at. The quality is effectively gone, but the immense trade-off is the speed is drastically enhanced. Before we get into all the functionality up top, you can see we are still in X mode. We have basically staining from every single page we've gone through thus far. However, X mode with note-taking is extremely fast, you will see. So the latency is non-existent. You can see it's just as quick as you can possibly get it. Yes, there's a lot of pixelation, and the quality of the background is, well, not very good, but that's just showing you that it can be extremely quick when it comes to note-taking on e-ink. But now let's get to the functionality portion of this. Now we're back on normal mode. We'll start with the pen. You have paintbrush, pencil, and some shapes. You do have a lot of colors as well, too. So they've incorporated 5 colors and 3 indescript colors. And what I mean by that, basically, if we make it really large here, we can go black, we can go dark gray, and we won't go through each one of these. We'll save that for the full note-taking video. However, you do have red, green, and blue, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult. Red, green, and blue all look like that. So you'll have to make sure you know which one red, green, and blue is, because when you export it, then it will show what the colors are on the screen. So it'll be red for maybe X's, green for check marks, and blue for whatever's. So you do have that option. Flipping the pen around, you do have the eraser, and when you press the button here and go over everything, you get the same result. You can see there is some staining on the background, but it refreshes itself along the way so that you kind of get rid of all that. You do have squares as well. Squares are very nice. It's very quick. If you want to see everything else, like I said, go to the full review video, and then you can see it from there. Onyx has been the best at this. So you can expand the box, you can rotate it, you can copy it, but you can actually change the dimensions as well. And a lot of manufacturers don't actually allow you to do that, because they don't want you changing the scale of it. They'll only allow you to actually make it bigger or smaller. They won't allow you to change the proportions. So that's really cool. I've always enjoyed that. You have text as well. Text on the screen. You can make it bold and underline, and you have all the abilities to change any of the text elements on the screen. AI is very nice, or basically a cursor. So you can write someone's name. We'll just write my name here. There you go. Click AI. Now you have 2 options. You have original recognition, which basically puts it there, right in the middle. That was something I did previously. And then you can click on this one, which reflows it and puts it into a layer of text. From here, you can actually do whatever you want with it. So if you've just written a huge amount of text, you can actually box that, anchor it, and then you can export it, you can save it, you can bold it, you can do whatever you want, copy, share with any apps that you actually have on your device, Bluetooth, what have you. So AI is actually very stable and it works very well. Eraser's also very nice as well like that. You do have a lot of backgrounds, grid points, horizontal lines, all that. It changes on the fly, unlike the Sony. It does have band mode, but band mode is not very useful because the thing already allows you to keep your hand on the screen. In fact, it allows you to have 5 points and you can tap on the screen and it still does not affect the writing whatsoever. You do have refresh to clean up the little spots and add new page and delete new page, or delete the page as you see fit. You do have some stuff on the side here too, export, insert picture, and insert picture is very nice, and we will show that in the full note-taking video. It actually does allow you to get a lot of Photoshop-y type abilities out of this device. So the handwriting recognition and the Photoshop level of editing and the latency with X mode make this a very, very strong contender in the note-taking race. You might have noticed this little ball down here. This is the navigation ball. You can actually click this to turn your device off, multi-screen, press back, audio, and all that. You can go to the navigation ball app and you can toggle it off and on as you see fit. And now you see when we go back, the navigation ball is gone. Hello everyone, it's Peter here with GoodyReader.com. Here it is, the Onyx Books Note 2. Lighter and might goes back a step. It doesn't actually go to the home screen. You have a power button with a status indicator light. The past couple years for glow lights have been great. There's really not too much to whine about on this. If you look at all the extreme corners, they're perfect. There's nothing wrong with any of the corners. There's no gray puffing on the side. There's no overexposure. And because this is flush screen and bezel, everything's kind of underneath the glass and you get this really beautiful distribution. And it doesn't project all that far. You can see that nothing else in the room is or the table is illuminated unless I reflect it with my hands. Otherwise, it's a very clean and beautifully softened light. You do have the sync ability to do, you can do sync ability, which basically takes both the warm and cool and puts them together, or you can move them individually. So you can make it super orange, super blue, or a combination of any of both. The Boyu line of devices, for example, exhibit an amazing glow light, but they don't allow you to actually blend the colors together like Onyx does. And Onyx allows you to have that full customizable white balance via the 2 slider bars. The Onyx Books Max 3 was great, but it was very expensive. The Onyx Books Note 2 is a masterpiece, not in the world of tablets, not in the world of consumer products, but in the world of e-readers. Surely this is a masterpiece. No other e-reader this price, $549 USD, this size, can play videos that amazingly, that smoothly, note-taking, PDFs, has twin speakers, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gig onboard, running Android 9, which means you're not going to run into any hurdles with app compatibility. This thing is easily the best e-reader tablet, pound for pound, ever made thus far. It beats out our previous contenders because a lot has been released in the past couple years, and it just keeps getting better and better, and the Onyx Books Note 2 is exhibiting exactly what e-readers should be and the direction they're moving in. For Goody Reader and a review of the Onyx Books Note 2, this is Peter.